Hello, everybody. I wanted to go over a tier list of all the entities and I guess hazards as well, because this one has both in non-modded uh, Lethal Company, and just go over how scary I found them, or lack of scare. We got 4 tiers for this. We have the not scary tier list, where I just really don't find whatever this is to be truly scary. We have the scary tier list where it's starting to get a little creepy, a little scary, but it's at the low end of things. With the unsettling, which are these are pretty creepy, though they definitely got that scare factor to them. I think they're pretty well done. And then the terrifying tier is our highest tier. If you are terrifying, you are one of the scariest, creepiest things in the game, and I think they've done a really good job with you. So without further ado, let's get started. And honestly, coming in at number... So, why do they have the locusts here? And like the manticoils. I guess these get their own... Well, hold on. We are going to make a new tier at or below. No scare. And that's where these are going to go, because they put these in for some reason, even though I really see no reason to have those two in here whatsoever. So now that that's out of the way. So we have the scary, not scary tier. And coming in the first of our not scary tier, which, so coming in first in our not scary tier, I'm gonna put it in quite simply as the face of the game themselves, and the ones that have probably gotten the most kind of funny mods for, I don't find the hoarding bugs to be that scary. Even when I first came across them, they never really intimidated me or spooked me much. It was like, oh, what's that? Oh, it's just a little bug. Okay. They don't look visually scary, and their mechanics are very mechanically simple and not scary. So, really and truly, they are probably one of the least frightening entities in the entire game, if not the least, other than our passive entities. Next on the list of really not that scary, just a little bit above it, is the friendly spore lizard. Now, that face right there is actually a bit spooky, and they might get some scares from you early on. However, I don't think you can be scared much past that once you realize that these are probably the most docile entity in the entire game. They play around intimidation tactics and spooking you before you do something to them. They literally make themselves big and scary. And if you get too close to them, to where they don't like it, they release a gas, maybe bite you, and run the fuck away. They're a non-problem. They really don't do any spooks or any scares. They're really not that deadly. Overall, I would say that they are just not scary in the least. I'm gonna say right here, right now, these are obviously, to, your opinion or whatnot. I personally find a mine not scary at all. Same with the turrets. I don't know why they put the hazards in. This was just going to be an entities list, but we're going to add them in as well. These guys just aren't scary to me at all. Like, they don't invoke any fear. And we're going to put a total of one more in the not scary tier. Everything above this will have at least some scare factor to it, even if it is the slightest. And that's going to be the slime. I don't find the slime scary. It's slow moving, easy to avoid. You can jump over it. You can hop on things to avoid it. It's not very smart. Its AI is like it's not very smart. Its mechanics aren't terribly scary. It's slow moving, slow impending death that really only becomes a mild nuisance when dealing with other entities. Overall, not scary. Moving next, we got the scary tier. And starting this off, we're going to be putting in these guys. Now, these guys I think are going to actually get a good jump out of you the first time you see them. But once you realize you just have to be loud and intimidate them, they'll back off usually. The only reason they go into the scary tier is because they do start to get a little scary once you start seeing them group up more and more. You start seeing 2s, 3s, 4s. And once they got more than the group of you that you're in, so if you're playing solo or with just a friend, once you get to 3 to 4, they will actually start coming at you and being aggressive. And it's, yeah, I don't know. It's literally, they jump in me! They jump in me! Simulator. I think that can be a little scary. And going in this theme of a little bit of scare to it, but really not a lot, is circuit bees. Now, when you come across them the first time, you're not really going to be spooked by this fuzzball. It's actually not the first encounter that's the most terrifying, but what I've seen happen on times that puts them here. Otherwise, they would go in the not scary. Now, they are, in theory, the only entity, for the most part, you can actually absolutely avoid almost at all costs. You have to actively aggravate them to really get them to be deadly. However, I have landed on moons in non-modded where these motherfuckers were just out in the prowl already pissed off. And that's actually a lot scarier. You start, like, especially if you're on a map like Val or something where there's pretty fast, like, way to get lost if you don't have to run in a direction, or, for example, a pretty long time to get to the ship. Bees can really discombobulate you, and you're gonna have to drop your shit basically if you're carrying anything, because then they'll catch up to you and kill you relatively quickly. Definitely one of the slower killers of the game for sure, but still they will mercilessly chase you down once they've found you until you manage to escape their view basically. They're actually pretty damn scary when it comes to that, and I think that helps balance out the not scary at all any other time. So overall, I'd say they're a little scary. They definitely have that scare factor when they're out on the prowl, angry, and I've seen that wipe entire teams. Going next into the scary tier list. Now this one actually's got some spooks and scares to them, but I just find that their mechanics and visual design don't really meet up to the rest of the quota. It's the forest giants. These guys are big, and they do kind of look very unsettling to look at. However, that's really about it that they have to them, other than the thumping that you hear. Because, honestly, their mechanic is just if they spot you, they chase you, and then fucking eat you alive. And, yeah, I don't want that, but I honestly think the other entities definitely beat it out in true scare and creep factor. But overall, forest giants are not one I ever want to mess with, and I actually prefer running into some of the quote-unquote scarier ones because I think they're actually easier to deal with than that motherfucker forest giant. Now, closing off last in this tier of scary, but not quite making it fully into unsettling. You made it close, but you just barely weren't able to make the cut. I'm actually going to put the Nutcracker. The Nutcracker is not really scary to me that much, other than the fact that they are incredibly deadly. But visually, there's a Nutcracker with an eye in them. And, it makes it feel more like Resident Evil. The eye, you gotta aim for it when it's showing kind of thing type. Like, that's how it makes me feel more than anything else. However, the thing is with them, they have a gun. Gun is deadly, and if you get too close to them, they'll kick you, and the kick is also a one-shot. So both times, they're just incredibly deadly adversaries to face, and overall, while they're not really creepy or scary in the sense of visual design, they are definitely deadly foes that I would not want to fuck with, and that is why I'm putting them into the scary tier. Next, we get the unsettling tier. Any entity here is definitely, I'd say, gone above and beyond just being scary. It is actually pretty damn unsettling to come across. And we're going to go with the first one, which is the bunker spider. I'm trying to let this one not be as biased as possible, but I have arachnophobia. So you may think of them as a little less scary. I may think of them a little more. But I think they're pretty unsettling. You may come across them early and you just hear those scuttling about and you know what it is. You come across those webs, and it's like, especially if you need to be like going through something dealing with other entities and you get webbed all of a sudden and you hear it coming, you're fucked. Like, it can be a truly terrifying experience, honestly. So I think the fact that they set up that web area around them is actually pretty creepy. And can really add to the scare factor when you get caught in it, especially if you don't realize because you haven't gone backwards, you can't see, and then suddenly you're webbed and it's like right on you. They can get some pretty good scares, I'd say. But overall, it's a giant spider. Of course, it's unsettling to me. Next up, we're going to go with one of my favorite outdoor, and actually my favorite outdoor enemy, the eyeless dogs. Now, the eyeless dogs, definitely, at least my personal opinion, were very heavily inspired off of SCP-939, and I absolutely adore that. First off, you have the reference of them being called dogs. They are creatures that only hunt via sound and cannot see, as well as a general four-legged, um, red-bodied, big mouthful of teeth. Just very visually similar, in my opinion. And I love them. And also, they're just a very creepy mechanic. It's one of the better mechanics that, you'll get in a lot of horror games. It's something that only hunts via sound. It makes you feel truly scared, Because any noise you make, whether it be you or something you're carrying or whatnot, suddenly has endangered you. And it's just freaky. I like them. They're nice, they're freaky and unsettling. They get to a lot of good scares, especially early on. And yeah, they're overall pretty fun. And honestly, going into the next one here, I'm actually going to put the Jester. The Jester visually just doesn't scare me, but I absolutely love the mechanic. Once they find someone, they just follow them. And it's very creepy. It's like, what the fuck is this? Who the fuck is this bozo following us? And then it just stays in place and starts like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And, if you actually know what's going on, that's the get out. Get the fuck out. And that's what's great about it, because they very much pressure the entire team. That is, like, you need good coordination. And once they have popped out and there's still someone there, they will relentlessly chase you down. And actually, they're pretty freaky and unsettling. I like the mechanic behind them. I think they're overall pretty good and pretty unsettling. And the next above them is going to be the Earth Leviathan, the big worm. Because honestly, they strike, and so often I found them to be one of the most dangerous outdoor enemies in the entire game. And let me explain why. I start running towards the ship, I made about halfway, just ran out of stamina because I'm carrying big heavy stuff, and then the worm suddenly comes by, and then I die. Or how about I'm sneaking along, trying to hide from dogs, and suddenly the worm comes by. It's like, well, fuck, and then I'm dead. But not only that, but it is honestly freaky because you don't see them almost ever. It's really difficult to actively see the Earth Leviathan. I've myself seen them twice at most. But you hear them. And it is actually really freaky because you can't see them, you can't know that they're there until they tell you that they're there. And then it's just this rumbling, this growling. It is actually pretty freaky. And that's going to be the unsettling tier. And now we get to the terrifying tier. Also, wait, I've just realized I've organized this the wrong way. Hold on. Me realizing I'm tier listing wrong, which is kind of funny. Alright, now we get the terrifying tier, and that is where our top 6 contenders go. And I'm going to be honest, the top 5, we're going to be getting to that in a moment. And actually coming in the 6th spot, I'm going to put the Thumper. Now, these guys are honestly pretty fucking scary, and it's because of their mechanics. The design is pretty unsettling. The roar is also kind of unsettling, but what makes them truly terrifying is, you've been walking like those things move so fast, it's horrifying. It is truly terrifying, and especially in an enclosed area, you are just, it is thus be upon ye, and it's horrifying. And trying to deal with them, especially if you don't have a shovel, is nigh impossible. They are incredibly deadly, and honestly definitely deserve number 6. They just really did not beat out 5, because I think everyone else has scarier mechanics, even if they're not as lethal. Which, speaking of, coming in at number 5, I am just going to put the Snail Flea. I personally love the little face hugger motherfuckers mechanically, as they are truly terrifying, and probably, I found them to be one of the deadliest entities in the game to me, personally. I will just, walk into a room and suddenly there's a snail flea on my face, because I didn't think to, take things slow. And, they just they make that screech and they hop on you, then you can't see anything, and then you're filled with panic because they don't actually kill you immediately. You have a chance to act. If you had a shovel or something, you're looking around for it, like, where is it? Ping, ping, where is it, so I can save myself? Or you're looking for the exit, like, fuck, can I make it to the exit? How do I get back there? Like, it's actually panic inducing because it doesn't kill you immediately, because you're trying to get yourself saved in any way you can. You're fighting for your life. And I actually think that's a really fun, interesting little thing. But not only that, but I just genuinely find them to be incredibly deadly if you don't take your time and go really slowly. And especially on later quotas, you have to go fast, because otherwise your every moment is wasted. These guys, really good, in my opinion. Coming in at number 4, we are going to have the Bracken. Now, the Bracken, I think, has a great mechanic behind it and is truly spooky and has a great jump scare potential, though I don't think they are the absolute scariest with that just yet. We'll get into why. However, I will say I fucking love them. They're great. They're probably my favorite, personally, as they feel the most unique. You know, you look at him for a moment, so he backs the fuck off as he tries to sneak up behind you to kill you. It's very interesting. It's very creepy. Don't look at them too long, because then just get pissed off and kill you anyways. So yeah, overall, absolute W. Get great jump scare value. Probably, I would say the face of the scares of the game is the Bracken. And coming in at number 3 is the Coilhead. It's literally just SCP-173. It's Peanut, and it's just as fucking terrifying as having Peanut on you. Because you just hear, you're walking around, what the, and now that is your sole focus. Everything else is secondary. And the problem is you have to navigate to the nearest exit while still watching that, while still having to deal with all these other entities. It's fucking terrifying. I legitimately actually had a panic attack. Well, not like a full panic attack, but like, as close to one as I get for like my biggest like it was playing modded. I had 2 of these on me. There was also the Skinwalkers mod. It was a lot to take in. It was an incredibly stressful situation. These guys are just incredibly fucking stressful, and they really start making everyone work together, because if you don't work together in that moment, it all goes to hell and everyone's dead. And then coming in at number 2 is the girl. I love her mechanics. They're probably my favorite mechanics in the game overall, in general, because she's very much a interesting one, especially for first-time players. When you first come across them, you don't even know what the fuck's going on. Your audio's drowning out, and you see this little girl like, hey, do you guys see that over there? And no one sees it. That's fucking creepy as shit. I love that. Then the fact that she'll haunt you a couple of times, give you auditory, like, fuckery before she starts to chase you down slowly and surely. And it's like, oh, she's skipping toward me, what's going on? And then you're dead. Your head is gone. And it can even get you outside where you think you're safe, because you probably first come across her inside. She doesn't care inside or outside. She will come for you and she will kill you. It's a timer on one's life. And I think that's really cool. Which does mean number 1 is the Masked, which I just absolutely love the design of a mimic entity. There's 2 parts to them. There's the masks that you can find, the tragedy and comedy masks. Comedy masks you can put up to your face to a bit and it won't kill you, then put it back down. But if you hold it up too long, it will kill you. You turn into a masked. Tragedy, once you put it up, you can never take it back down, kills you, turns you into a masked. And then the fun part with the mask is that they are entities that look like your friends, especially when they come out of the dark or whatnot, or on cameras, and you'll see them, like, if they take over your friend, you see them on camera, you have to teleport them into your ship. No, it's a mask, and now you have to try and get out before it grabs you and turns you into one too. They're horrifying. I love them. I think it's a great mechanic, and this is my list. Now, I will say, is this the one I'm personally most scared of? No. My friend is, though. He fucking hates them. But yeah, this is my tier list, so thank you guys so much for joining me on this, you know. I forgot to do this. I'm stupid. There we go. This is the definitive tier list, in my opinion, on terrifying. The closer it is here is the higher it is. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.